What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, your Yu-Gi-Oh! Professional Development. And today, I wanted to go ahead and showcase one more deck profile that's just a little bit different before the ban list drops here soon, just to give something different and a little bit more diversity in the channel before we hop back into just pure meta. With that said, this has a great potential at meta contention, especially this variant. This is Earth Machine, Dozer Control, for those of you who are familiar with it by that name. So I won't waste too much time. This deck is really good, really solid, and more than anything, consistent. So before we hop into the deck, quick shout out to our new subs, Daniel and Mitch. Thank you all so much for joining, continuing to put up some amazing content for you guys every Sunday. And with that said, let's go ahead and hop into the deck profile. We're going to profile this just a little bit different here. We're going to do it by card rolls just because this deck fits that very, very well. And we're going to go ahead and begin with our starters. So our starters are pretty much cards that are going to complete a line of play that's going to get you to some type of negate or disruption or piece of end board that your opponent's going to have to push through. And basically, the name of the game with your starters is Search Infinitrack Dozer. So all of these cards do that. So starting off with 3 Infinitrack Harvester searches Dozer, as well as makes levels on the field between itself and another monster combined. So 2 and plus a 4, they would both become 6, just to let you do your Xyz plays. Metal Cruncher. This guy also says get Dozer, reveal 3 machines from your deck, and your opponent adds one of them to your hand. I believe it's random, but I'm not quite sure. But again, you just reveal 3 Dozer, and that's what you're going to get. So, Heavy Forward. This is our also searcher for any Infinitrack monster, Infinitrack Dozer. In this case is what we're getting. If we don't have Infinitrack Dozer, then we're going to get Harvester, normal summon it, and then get to the Dozer. So what's cool about this card is that should you already open a normal summon, this is a superior extender getting you to a different Infinitrack piece that you might already need that you don't have. And then 3, Machina Redeployment. This lets you search Metal Cruncher, which again searches Dozer. So those are the main 12 cards that get to Dozer. And in this build in particular, we are including Dozer as a starter just because this deck is 41 cards. In our 41 card deck, we have a total of, I believe it's at minimum 15 to 17 ways to get to a monster on board that Dozer can then tribute and use its effect, which means over 90% of the time, even if you hard open Dozer, you have the monster to tribute it. So in this build, how it's designed, Dozer is a starter because when you open it, it will still be live regardless. So that's it for our starters. We're going to go ahead and move on to our superior extenders. These are cards that when we pair them with one of our starters, it makes our end board just that a little bit much better. It either makes a better threat or an additional threat on top of what we're already working with. So we have 1 Bullet Train and 2 Dairy Crane. We play 3 total names just because, again, if you hard open Dozer already and you have something like Metal Cruncher, you want to guarantee Metal Cruncher's search gets you to a superior extender, which is one of these. You want to just see one because throughout your combo, you can search the other. So in this case, we play 3 here. Dairy Crane is our interruption on our opponent's turn. When it's detached from an Xyz material, you can quick effect, target and pop 1 card on your opponent's board. So it has that Trident effect given to an Xyz monster. So 2 Fortress, again, another superior extender, just another body on board that lets you keep playing and keep playing through negates, which is really, really nice. In that same realm, we play triple Ready Fusion. This is and 1 Instant Fusion. This is by far probably the best set of extenders in the deck that we have access to, just because your main focus on your initial play is to get to a card like River Stormer, which is a rank 5 Xyz. So should your Dozer be hit by Ash, Imperm, Baylor, or whatever, having access to this to put another level 5 Earth Machine on board as material to overlay and keep going is going to be really, really powerful. So that's our 3 there plus our Instant Fusion. Those are all our superior extenders. So as you can tell, even if we have a starter, we are still working with at least 9 different superior extenders, which is really, really powerful in what you want to see. Moving on to the additional extenders. These are cards that will kind of just be searched more so throughout your combos that just keep your plays going somewhat. So that includes 1 Tunneler, 1 Anchor Drill, and 1 Trencher. So Trencher is the main thing that kind of gets your combo that you summon off of Dozer to keep things moving. Tunneler is the Pot of Avarice for the deck, and Anchor Drill is the follow-up for the deck that you can normal and then special and Infinitrack from your hand. This is typically what you get for the next turn. These are typically what you get on your opening combo play. So those are our additional extenders. Next, for our cards that are more so in the defensive role, but can be used in a few different ways. I'm going to start off here with Urgent Schedule. This can be used in a variety of ways. It can be sent while set with a card like Anger Knuckle to get a search off of it. But basically, we put it in defense just because you can get something like a Citadel or a Machina Fortress off this. This lets you survive OTKs. This lets you keep doing whatever you need to do. Very powerful card. Ending on something like this with Droplet and Machina Overdrive just feels really, really good for the deck. And like I said, even if it gets sent to the grave while set, you can still get a search off of it. So continuing on, Triple Droplet, another powerful way to use a set Urgent Schedule, so you do not want to actually use its activated effect. But again, this deck spams a lot of monsters and can punch through things really quickly, but we want a way just to break the boards that we have on our opponent's field, and it's an easy way to load up the grave for something like Tunneler as well. And then in that same vein, 3 talents. Not necessary in this build. However, this deck is very susceptible to pretty much almost any hand trap. Veiler, Ash, Imperm, Droll, what have you, so on and so forth down the list, Nibiru. So having a way to recover from that in talents is just really, really important for this deck in particular. So, and since you're locked into Earth Machine, there's no Verte Anaconda play for DPE or things like that. You got to make do with other ways, and talents is kind of the main way that we do that. So Triple Machina Overdrive. This is what lets us keep going, helps us dodge pieces of interruption, things like that. Basically, we pop a machine to get a Machina on the board, mainly searching our Citadel, which is going to be our board wipe of the deck. That can be looped every single turn, which is really, really good. In realm of that, Citadel, our board wipe, basically says you can target a machine on your field, blow it up, and then your opponent's monsters on their field are all destroyed if they have equal or less than attack of what you blew up. So Machina Citadel, Machina Fortress, whatever you want, pick a big monster, get rid of it, and then clear their board. So that's the defensive section of the deck. And then the last card, the one engine requirement, which is essentially the one card that will never get better as the game progresses, even if you open it in your hand, is a card like Ancient Gearbox. If you see this, your goal is ultimately to get it in the grave and shuffle it back in the deck to search it. That's where the value of this card comes from, is it needs to be searched. And when it is, then you can add a Machina, a Infinitrack from your deck to your hand. And that's usually going to be Tunneler searching your Pot of Avarice. So we're going to go ahead and do the extra deck here. The extra deck is pretty standard. There may be some slight variations, but in total, the space of this is pretty tight, and there's a big chunk of what is kind of necessary to the general consensus that you should be running. First and foremost is your Goliath. 3 of these are in here mainly just to cycle with the Pot of Avarice. You want to put back as many extra deck monsters as possible, so you just get more draws from your main deck without risking putting back stuff that you don't want to see. So Goliath is mainly that. Its secondary effect to attach as a material occasionally comes up, but for the most part, it is just food for your Tunneler. Our other links of the deck, the last 2 that we play, are 1 Ballista and 1 Anger Knuckle. Ballista is what searches your box and is why all your superior extenders are very, very important, because worst case, if you can't get to your Dozer play and you can still get 2 machines on board, you can at least get to Ballista and get Tunneler and then do a Pot of Avarice play and dig and keep going from there. Anger Knuckle is your advantage engine, what you loop typically off the end of your combo to recycle essentially your Pot of Avarice, your Bullet Train, different pieces like that. Anger Knuckle is kind of what lets that happen at the end of your combo. So moving on, from that point, we now play a few more cards in the extra deck. We play 2 Cybersaurus. You can play just 1 if you would like. I like playing 2 just because I have the Ready Fusion and the Instant Fusion. And there's been times where it's come up where that you have both. So being able to do both of those and just make a River Stormer without even using your normal summon or investing any resources is amazing. So having 2 is nice. And just, again, the extra name from the extra deck to put back is what lets you draw 2 without using anything from your main deck, because you'll typically use 3 Goliath plus a Ballista plus Cybersaurus to be shuffled back with the Tunneler. So from there, the rest of the deck is all of our Xyz monsters that we use. So we're going to start off with some of the major hitters of the deck. You got 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Juggernaut, 1 of the Super Dora and one of the Gustav Max. So this is kind of your engine to OTK or to do big damage pushes whenever you want. This guy says detach burn for 2k. You can overlay this guy on top of either of these two. This guy basically makes itself only be able to attack, but boosts its attack up to 6k. So you basically make this burn for 2k, use the link of Ballista to make a monster's attack 0, and then overlay into this, make it 6,000, and punch for the remaining 6,000. This guy is typically what you try to end on your basically first turn combo. It's a quick effect detach, and it's unaffected by all other card effects, and it's got 4k defense. So you usually detach that with Dairy Crane to pop a card, keep it unaffected, and then you just wait till your turn rolls around and you just OTK from there. From there, we got some more kind of generic support or generic pieces of toolbox here. We got a Zeus, a Enter Blacnir, and a Earth Slicer. And then the last two we run is obviously the River Stormer for the combo itself, and one Gaia Charger. That is it for the extra deck. And that is it for the main deck. Thank you all so much for watching. If this video gets 5 likes, our typical goal here, I will do a deck analysis and some test hands. There is a lot of thought process that goes into playing a deck like this, so I'll be really happy to showcase that. With that said, thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.